A One Piece game where you can create your own character, create or join your own crew, and explore and fight on the seas of the One Piece world. That would be the perfect One Piece game for me. What's good YouTube, Ronnie here, and today I'm going to dive deep into how players will obtain and use Haki in my dream One Piece game. This is part of an ongoing series in which I break down game mechanics and features I want in my One Piece game idea, so if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to stay updated. Haki, as many of us know, is one of the two major power systems in the One Piece world. It allows the user to utilize their own spiritual energy for various purposes. With Haki, characters are able to sense the presence of others, create an invisible shield through their body, and conquer the minds of others with their will alone. So how will Haki be incorporated in this game? That's the question that will be answered in this video, so let's get to it. Let's discuss Haki in the perfect One Piece game. Before we start, remember to drop a like if you liked the video, and go watch my previous One Piece videos before you finish this video to go get a good idea of everything I'm talking about. So there are three types of Haki: Observation, Armament, and Conquerors, and all three will be available in the game. So let's break down each of these three types of Haki to get a better understanding of how they work in the series and how they will work in this game, starting with Observation. Observation Haki, or the color of observation or mantra in Skypiea, allows the user to sense the presence, strength, and even emotions of people around them. We've seen characters in this series use it as somewhat precognition to react to and dodge attacks. We've also seen characters use it to somewhat sense enemies from a distance away, as well as enemies that are hidden or invisible. In this game, Observation Haki will work pretty much exactly the same. So in terms of sensing others, it will work just like it did in One Piece World Seeker, where it pretty much gives you an infrared look at enemies from far away and even through walls and structures. Now for the precognition, that will also be pretty easy. So upon unlocking Observation Haki, you will be able to react to incoming attacks. It would be something similar to Spider-Man PS4, where when you were about to get attacked, your controller would vibrate and you would press a button to dodge automatically. Now that wouldn't be an automatic action, you yourself will have to react to that attack, so if you don't do anything, you'll get hit. Also, every time you do that, you would drain your Haki, so you can't just keep using that and not try to counterattack or flee. Now, I know what we're all thinking, what about Advanced Observation, or better known as Future Sight? Well, I actually have two different ideas of how Future Sight could work in this game. The first idea is pretty simple, so as I said before with regular observation, you could react to enemies' attacks with the press of a button. Well, for this idea, Future Sight will work just like Kami from the Rokushiki portion of the Special Fighting Styles video, where you will have to activate Future Sight and your character will automatically dodge all attacks until your Haki meter runs low. So basically the same as regular observation, except you wouldn't have to press a button to react to attacks, you would just do it automatically. The second idea is much more complicated than that, and honestly a lot less realistic. But this version of Future Sight upon activated will allow you to see the patterns of attacks your opponent usually performs. So when you activate it, you will be able to see the attack menu of the opponent you're locked onto, and you will also see the frequency they use each attack, with the least frequent being green and the most frequent being red. So for example, let's say you come across a Black Leg style He no Mi user. Let's say their 4 main attacks they use are Hail Memories, Ice Age, Flaming Shot, and Ice Block Pheasant Beak. When you use Future Sight against this opponent, you will be able to see each of these attacks on screen and the frequency of times your opponent uses each attack. So maybe he uses Hail Memories the most out of the 4 in battle. Not only does this allow you to see each of your opponent's techniques they use, but will also allow you to prepare for your counterattack way before your opponent realizes it. And I kind of feel like that's what Future Sight is. Obviously not exactly the same thing, but there's no way you can know for sure what an online player is going to do against you. But it does allow you to make a very good educated guess on what they might do, which is as close to Future Sight as we could ever get. Let me know in the comments if you think either of these ideas for Future Sight would be cool in the game. And if you have your own idea of how Future Sight could work in the game, put that in the comments as well. Moving on to Armament. Armament Haki, or the color of arms, or Rio in Wano, allows the users to use their spiritual energy as armor to both protect themselves and deal more damage. The armor is usually black with a shade of another color depending on the character. With Armament Haki, characters are able to bypass Devil Fruit power effects such as Logia fruits or special Devil Fruits like the Gum Gum fruits' rubber properties. So in this game, Armament Haki would work quite the same as it does in this series. Players who activate it will be able to use it during melee combat, so pretty much how I was using One Piece Burning Blood. This would allow you to bypass Devil Fruit user effects like Logia intangibility, and also you would be able to do double damage to Devil Fruit users in general. Now, what about Advanced Armament? Well, it's pretty simple honestly, it would just be like basic armament, it just would do a whole lot more damage. Advanced armament in the actual series is destroying things from the inside, and there's no real way to show that in the game besides just causing more damage. Now, there will be an aura around your attack just like it's shown in the anime, and I suppose maybe it could have some type of lasting effect, maybe weakness. I didn't originally list that as a status effect, but that could be one. Let me know in the comments if you think you have a better idea of how Advanced Armament Haki could function in this game. Moving on to the almighty Conqueror's Haki. Conqueror's Haki, or the color of the Supreme King, is the rarest form of Haki, and it allows the user to exert their own will and dominance over others. This is usually shown in the form of a shockwave exuding out of the user's body that knocks out nearby opponents. The range of the shockwave depends on the user and the mastery of the Conqueror's Haki. So just like the others, Conqueror's Haki will work just like it does in the series, where the user will activate it and will be able to knock down multiple enemies at once. And the range of the shockwave depends on the level of your Conqueror's Haki mastery. Now, everyone doesn't get knocked down or even affected by this. The effect of Conquerors relies solely on the level of the user and their targets. So for starters, when a Conqueror's Haki user uses a Conqueror's Haki Blast, which is what I'm going to call it, against enemies who don't have any form of Haki, so like really like low level players, they get knocked down. Not like knocked down and can get back up in a second, I mean like knocked down with your life bar completely depleted and you would need a crew member or ally to come and help you up. Now that might sound a little overpowered, and yeah, that's the point. But again, that's if the opponent has no form of Haki unlocked at all. Now let's say if the opponent does have Haki unlocked. Let's say they have both Observation and Armament Haki unlocked and they're like level 45 or something like that. And the Conqueror's Haki user is level 75. At worst, the opponent would get stunned for a couple of seconds by the blast, but they wouldn't get knocked down or anything like that or even take damage. And as for Haki users who are closer in power to the user, say like level 65, they won't be affected at all. The reason being because Conqueror's Haki, at least the basic version, has only been used to dominate and incapacitate much weaker opponents. Like, we only see fodder get knocked out by Conqueror's Haki in the series, so the same should apply here. Also, Conqueror's Haki Blast would take up half your Haki meter, and you will have a long cooldown time, probably like 2 minutes or so, and you would need a full bar to perform it. Now what if two Conqueror's Haki users meet and simultaneously activate the Conqueror's Haki Blast? Well, the two blasts will form into a huge shockwave affecting everyone around who isn't strong enough to withstand it, allies included, to get knocked down. It would be somewhat like a stay away from those two anime moment, but in game. Now what about the newly shown Advanced Conqueror's Haki? Well, considering it's pretty similar to Advanced Armament Haki, except it's Conqueror's Haki being used, I would just say that it would be the same here in the game to an extent where your attacks will be much stronger, and there will be black lightning spearing out of your attacks. Now what if two Advanced Conqueror's Haki's class? Well, the same thing would happen, except this time it would be like a button mashing segment between the two players, similar to like a beam struggle in old Dragon Ball games, with the winner's attack landing the hit. And honestly, more often than not, an Advanced Conqueror's Haki attack would be a one-shot. The only time it wouldn't be a one-shot is if you're fighting someone around your level and a Haki user, or you're fighting someone with all their stats towards defense and health. Now how exactly would players learn Haki? So in this game, all players will be able to unlock and use Observation and Armament Haki. It's not race exclusive, faction exclusive, or anything like that. In fact, learning Haki in this game will be pretty much guaranteed. That's because there will be two concrete ways to unlock it. The first way being leveling up. So this game's level cap will be level 100, and by leveling up to a certain level, players will be able to automatically unlock Haki at the lowest level. So for Observation, you have to reach level 25, and for Armament, you will have to reach level 50. But those are just the levels where you will automatically unlock them. Now if you think leveling up just isn't a fast enough method for you, then you will most likely try the other method to get Haki, finding a Haki teacher. So just like Fishman Karate from the Special Fighting Styles video, Haki teachers will be scattered across the world, although they would be much rarer to come into contact with than Fishman Karate teachers. Haki teachers would send you on multiple tasks and missions in order to eventually unlock both Observation and Armament Haki. You wouldn't have to be a certain level to unlock Haki through this method. So if you're a level 10 player and you come into contact with a Haki teacher, then you could unlock Haki at level 10. That's where your Sea of Origin comes into play. So if you remember from my first two videos, each of the 4 blue seas will have a different difficulty when you start your journey there. With the East Blue being the easiest, the South Blue being the next easiest, then the West Blue, and then the North Blue being the most challenging out of the 4. Well, depending on how difficult the sea is, that increases your likelihood of coming into contact with a Haki teacher. So while a player in the East Blue would get extremely lucky if they found just one Haki teacher in their home sea, a North Blue player could run into like 5 of them through their journey in the North Blue alone. That's one of the rewards for picking the harder spawning place. I feel like that makes sense canonically as well, because while Luffy never learned Haki in the East Blue but did so in the Grand Line, it's safe to assume that his contemporaries, like Law and Kid, who hail from the North Blue and South Blue respectively, were Haki users prior to making it to even Sabaody, because they never took 2 years to go train for the New World. They just pushed into the New World after Sabaody with basically no issues. Now, as I said, those 2 ways would be how you would unlock Observation and Armament Haki. Now, what about the huge elephant in the room? How will players unlock Conqueror's Haki? Well, for starters, unlike Observation and Armament, not every player will unlock Conqueror's Haki. The reason for this being because, as most fans know, it is a very rare form of Haki to unlock. In this series, only 1 out of a million actually unlock Conqueror's Haki. Now, that statistic obviously won't be that crazy in this game, but it does hold the same weight. So my idea of unlocking Conquerors is honestly a lot more different than I've seen other people who come up with the same ideas of a One Piece game, come up with. In this game, I think Conqueror's Haki should be unlocked based on how you play as a player. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say that every player, as soon as they spawn into the game for the first time, would have this invisible Conqueror's Haki probability meter. Again, everyone would have one, but it wouldn't be like an actual visual thing you can track. And based on the things you do in the game, it would affect which direction that meter will go in. For most, it would stay to the left side and you would never unlock Conquerors. For a few though, the meter would swing to the right and you'll unlock Conqueror's Haki. Now, what can players do to try to swing their meter to the right side? Well, there's multiple things. The first one is being a captain of a successful crew. Being able to lead a crew for a long period of time without losing many members due to defeat or just leaving the crew could increase your chances of unlocking Conqueror's Haki, because it shows you're a good leader and your subordinates respect you. The next way you could increase your chances of unlocking Conquerors is willingly engaging in combat. And no, I don't just mean going to fight anybody, I mean going to go fight guys who are higher level than you or big name players. This also could include moments when you are in a bad situation and you choose to fight back. Like, let's say you and your crewmates are surrounded by Marines or pirates of whatever levels. If you choose to fight right then and there instead of fleeing the scene, that would increase your chances. It shows that you like to take challenges head on, a quality of a true conqueror. Now, the disclaimer of all of this is that Conqueror's Haki would never be guaranteed. These will just be ways to increase your chances to unlock it. So you could decide to go and fight 20 guys stronger than you and win every fight, and it still wouldn't guarantee you unlocking Conqueror's Haki. And when you do unlock it, it will always be in the middle of a dire situation or battle. So again, let's say you were surrounded and in the middle of the battle, your character releases a random shockwave that knocks out surrounding opponents. You would then get a notification saying that you've unlocked Conqueror's Haki. This would allow Conqueror's Haki to feel like a really hype moment every time someone unlocks it. Now again, this could happen at any level. It will more than likely happen around the middle levels, say like 50 and 70, but it could definitely be unlocked at an earlier level. Also on that note, just because a player can use Conqueror's Haki doesn't mean that they're overpowered. Like I said, you can unlock it at an earlier level, say like level 30, but let's say you come into blows with like a level 60 non-Conqueror's Haki user. You're still more than likely going to get your ass kicked in that fight. And that's just about it for Haki and how you could use it in the game. Tune in to the next video, I know you're going to like it because the next video is going to be about Devil Fruits. Follow me on Instagram at RedXRonnie, follow me on Twitter at RedXRonnie, join my Discord, we've been talking a lot in there. Remember to like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one, peace.